The Nutty Putty Cave, a name that now sends chills down the spines of Utah cavers. Located south of Salt Lake City, it was once a place of recreation, a place of dark twisting passages beckoning the adventurous. The cave was known for its tight squeezes and challenging routes. It was a place where only the experienced dared to venture. But Nutty Putty held a dark secret. A secret that would forever etch its name in caving tragedy. The Nutty Putty Cave, with its labyrinthine tunnels and narrow passageways, has always been a magnet for thrill-seekers and adventurers. The cave's reputation for being both exhilarating and perilous drew many to its depths. However, beneath the surface excitement lay an undercurrent of danger that few could anticipate. Nestled in the scenic landscape south of Salt Lake City, the Nutty Putty Cave was discovered in 1960 by Dale Green. Over the years, it became a popular spot for cavers, both amateur and professional, who were eager to explore its intricate network of tunnels. The cave's unique geology, characterized by its soft, clay-like walls, made it a fascinating subject of study and exploration. The cave's passages, often no wider than a human body, required cavers to crawl, twist, and contort their way through. These tight squeezes, while thrilling for some, posed significant risks. The cave's most infamous section, known as the birth canal, was particularly notorious for its narrowness and difficulty. For many, the challenge of navigating these tight corridors was a test of skill and bravery. Stories of successful expeditions and the camaraderie among cavers added to the allure of Nutty Putty. Yet the cave's beauty and challenge masked the potential for disaster. Experienced cavers equipped with helmets, lights, and other gear would often spend hours, if not days, mapping out new routes and discovering hidden chambers. Their expertise and preparation were crucial in navigating the cave's complexities. However, even the most seasoned cavers were not immune to the cave's dangers. The Nutty Putty Cave's dark secret came to light in 2009, when a tragic incident occurred that would forever change the perception of this underground labyrinth. John Jones, an experienced caver, became trapped in one of the cave's narrow passages. Despite the best efforts of rescue teams, he could not be freed, and the cave claimed his life. Today, the Nutty Putty Cave remains sealed, a somber reminder of the risks inherent in caving. A memorial near the entrance honors those who have ventured into its depths, and the story of John Jones serves as a poignant reminder of the cave's perilous beauty. The Nutty Putty Cave, once a symbol of adventure, now stands as a testament to the delicate balance between thrill and danger in the world of caving. John Jones loved a challenge. He was a young man brimming with life, a natural adventurer. Caving was his passion, the thrill of the unknown, the darkness enveloping him. It was exhilarating. When John heard about Nutty Putty, he was eager to explore its depths. He gathered his gear, his heart pounding with anticipation. He was prepared, or so he thought. He entered the cave unaware of the nightmare that awaited him. The group descended deeper into the earth, their headlamps casting eerie shadows on the cave walls. Each step took them further from the surface, the light of day becoming a distant memory. The thrill of exploration was palpable, but so was the underlying tension. They knew the risks involved in spelunking, yet the allure of the unknown drove them forward. The cave's entrance had been wide and welcoming, but as they ventured further, the passages grew narrower and more treacherous. The air grew thick, heavy with moisture, making it difficult to breathe. The sound of dripping water echoed through the cavern, creating an almost hypnotic rhythm. The walls were slick with condensation, and the ground beneath their feet was uneven and slippery. Every now and then, a gust of cool air would rush past them, hinting at the vast network of tunnels that lay ahead. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became, as if the cave itself was closing in on them. John, always eager and adventurous, decided to explore a side passage that branched off from the main tunnel. He had always been the most daring of the group, often taking risks that others would shy away from. This passage was no different. It was narrow and winding, barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through, but John was undeterred. He believed that the most rewarding discoveries were often hidden in the most challenging places. It was a tight squeeze, but he was determined. The walls of the passage pressed in on him from all sides, and he had to contort his body to make any progress. His friends watched anxiously from the main tunnel, their voices echoing faintly as they called out to him. John reassured them that he was fine, but deep down, he felt a growing unease. The passage seemed to be getting narrower, and the air was becoming stifling. Then, it happened. John became wedged, his body stuck fast in the narrow passage. He tried to move forward, then backward, but he was completely immobilized. Panic began to set in as he realized the gravity of his situation. The walls of the passage seemed to close in even more, and the darkness around him felt suffocating. He called out to his friends, his voice tinged with fear, and they rushed to his aid. He tried to wriggle free, panic rising in his chest. He was trapped. The more he struggled, the more tightly he seemed to be wedged. His breathing became rapid and shallow, and his heart pounded in his chest. The reality of his predicament was overwhelming. He was alone in the darkness, with only the sound of his own labored breathing, and the distant voices of his friends to keep him company. He had never felt so helpless. His friends tried to pull him out, but it was no use. John was stuck fast. They tried everything they could think of, from pulling on his arms to trying to widen the passage with their tools. But the cave was unforgiving and their efforts seemed futile. The minutes stretched into hours and the sense of urgency grew. They knew that they had to act quickly, but they were running out of options. The cave had claimed John, and it was not willing to let him go. News of John's predicament spread like wildfire. Rescuers arrived, their faces grim as they assessed the situation. They worked tirelessly, setting up ropes and pulleys. Hope flickered when they managed to move John slightly, but their relief was short-lived. He had shifted, his situation becoming even more precarious. John was now suspended upside down, his blood rushing to his head. The pain was excruciating. Section 5, 70 hours. 70 hours. That's how long John remained trapped. 70 hours of agonizing pain, fear gnawing at his sanity. Rescuers stayed by his side, talking to him, trying to keep his spirits up. They pumped warm air into the passage, desperate to prevent hypothermia. But John's condition was deteriorating. His body, contorted in the unnatural position, was beginning to shut down. Section 6, a race against time. The rescue became a race against time. Every minute that passed, hope dwindled. Rescuers knew they had to get John out soon, or they would lose him. They tried everything, drilling, chiseling, anything to widen the passage. But the cave was unforgiving. Their efforts were in vain. John's family waited anxiously at the surface, their hearts breaking with each passing hour. Section 7. The Impossible Decision. This chapter delves into the heart-wrenching moments that followed the realization of an insurmountable challenge. It was a moment that would forever change the lives of everyone involved. Then came the devastating news. The family, who had been clinging to hope, was suddenly thrust into a nightmare. The air was thick with tension as they received the update. Faces that once held hope now reflected sheer despair. The rescuers had reached their limit. Days of relentless effort had taken a toll on their bodies and spirits. They had given everything they had, but the cave's treacherous conditions were too much to overcome. Exhaustion was etched into every line on their faces. The cave was too unstable. Every attempt to reach John was met with new dangers. The walls seemed to close in tighter with each passing hour, and the risk of collapse grew ever more imminent. The rescuers knew that continuing would mean risking more lives. Continuing the rescue would put more lives at risk. The decision was made after much deliberation and with heavy hearts. John couldn't be saved. The weight of this decision was almost unbearable, but it was the only option left. The team gathered, their faces somber as they came to terms with the harsh reality. He would remain forever entombed in the dark heart of Nutty Putty. The cave, which had once been a place of adventure, had now become a tomb. The narrow passages and dark interiors would be his final resting place, a somber reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface. The news hit everyone like a ton of bricks. Despair engulfed John's family. They clung to each other, seeking comfort in their shared grief. The weight of the loss was palpable, and the air was filled with the sounds of sorrow and heartbreak. The rescuers, their faces etched with grief, were forced to accept the impossible. They had fought valiantly, but in the end, nature had proven too formidable an adversary. The team stood together, united in their sorrow, as they mourned the loss of a life they had tried so desperately to save. Section 8. Nutty Putty's Legacy. Nutty Putty Cave was sealed, its entrance closed off with concrete, a tomb for John and a stark reminder of the tragedy. The cave, once a place of adventure, was now a symbol of loss and despair. John's death sent shockwaves through the caving community. It was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of the underground world. Section 9. Lessons Learned. John's story became a cautionary tale. His death led to a reassessment of cave safety regulations, a push for better training, and a greater awareness of the risks involved in exploring the subterranean world. The tragedy of Nutty Putty serves as a constant reminder. The beauty of the underground world comes with a price that John Jones paid with his life.